Everyone, and welcome to this Testlify review video. Today I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about Testlify, and as usual, if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'll also be leaving a discounted link in this video's description so that you can always get your money's worth for Testlify. So Testlify basically speeds up your entire hiring process by getting a large amount of assessments and candidates and applications that you have in bulk and running them through certain tests to basically find which ones are the best people for you. So here we have our main dashboard. Now at the top we have assessments, candidates, tests and integrations, and then we have the option to create a new assessment. So on here we can select a job role. So basically, depending on what we're creating a job for, this is where you would put it. So for example, if we were doing a cashier, we put it here, and the name of the assessment would be cashier assessment or whatever you want. Hitting next, it will then take us to the overall page where we can make this assessment or form, whatever you want to call it, for our potential employees. So we can search a test, we can search for test type, depending on whether we want it to be software, coding, language, situational. We can also change the difficulty between beginner, intermediate and advanced, and also then it will give us a large amount of ready to use tests that we already want to use. Doesn't mean that you only have to use the question included, because as you can see on number 2, you can add your own questions to the assessment if you want to, if there are a few things that maybe the template that you've picked doesn't contain and you want to add more. However, let's go ahead and do basic triple-digit math. So this test basically assesses an applicant's ability to solve 3-digit math equations. This helps to identify people who can solve addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division problems. And if we wanted this, we could add this. We could have the amount of questions it has and how much time they have to actually complete it. Then we can go to the add your own questions, and this will be added onto either the beginning or the end, depending on when you want it. But you can add all of these different types of questions for people to answer. You have qualifiers. You can have an open-ended question, so they can basically write whatever they want. They could have a video recording or record a video of themselves. You could have a single selection question, a multiple option question. They could upload a file, maybe a CV or something, a typing speed test, maybe if you have a lot of typing involved and you want people to, get documents out quickly. You have a coding test, audio, spreadsheet, document, slides, and also short answer. So all of these are basically, when you add one, you can simply click on it and you can select the time to complete the said question and then the question itself. And when you've done that, we'll just say, how are you today? And you can select whether this is a mandatory question or not and hit add, and then that will have been added on to your overall assessment level. Then you're able to adjust all of your settings and configurations. So you can select things like allowing candidates to skip questions, compulsory webcams, capture a screenshot of their tests, skip registration for candidate invites, and also ask for location. You select the default language. With integrations, you can select job profiles, ATS, and stage names. Confirmation, you can basically, when they've done it and submitted it, you can choose whether they go to a regular confirmation page that Testlify will already provide for you, or whether it will redirect you to an external link. Maybe on your site you'll have maybe it'll just take you straight back to the home page, maybe it will bring you to an area where only applicants can see or something like that. And also you can give a welcome video so that before they actually participate in the test, it will give them a little bit of a rundown about what is going to happen and what they need to do. Now when you've actually completed making the entire assessment, you can go ahead and on the bottom right click the big next button. It will ask you if you're sure. It will basically switch to a done or previous tab, and when you hit done, the assessment will have been created successfully. So then you can invite people, and when you've done that, this will basically allow you to put the first name, last name, and email address. So for example, once you're on maybe Indeed or something and you want to send out the people once you've got their information, you can simply put this information in, send it to their email, and then they will know that they've been accepted or at least are being reviewed or considered for that job. Then you have a list of all of the candidates, all of your tests, and all of your questions. And this is basically the overall area for your assessments, where you're basically just able to manage everything. At the top right, you have deleting, archiving, copy the ID, clone, or edit, but that is pretty much that. Now, let's move on to the candidate tab. Once we've created an assessment, this is basically where we can view every candidate that we have. It will give us a little bit of information such as their name and their email and things like that, However, once you have got them, it will list them. As you can see, we do not have any. However, it's a great tab to be able to manage the people that you have, where you can remove people that you don't maybe want or maybe weren't fit enough for the position, and also make sure that you review and familiarize yourself with the people who might actually be worth considering. Then you have your tests tab, which is basically where all of your different tests can be viewed and you can create tests very easily. It's the exact same thing as we had in the create assessment button. However, this is a test rather than an assessment. So when we found one that we want, all we would need to do is review it, and we can preview what this one will look like with all the different questions on it and how much time it will give them. However, if we do not like them, then we do not have to do it. But if you want to add one, you can create the company test and make sure that you select the one that you previewed and make sure that it's good enough for you. And then we have our integrations. So if you want to make it seamless, if you want to integrate them with any sort of website that you might want on here, for example, especially maybe websites that are tailored towards employees. For example, in my past, I've used Workday in the past, and all of these different websites are ones that obviously people might want to use. Or for example, Sage as well is one that I've used in the past. And obviously what you're able to do is integrate it with as many of these as you want to use them for your assessments as well. So whilst the questions will all be the exact same, it will be on these external platforms. You don't have to give another, all of your team or all of your recruiters or recruitment people rather, a new website in order to actually use and hire the people that you might want. And you don't want people who are actually being recruited to have to use a large different amount of website. You want the process to be as easy for both sides as physically possible, and that's why integrations are so handy. All you would need to do is hit the integrate now button, select one that you want. So I, for example, will hit Sage, and then what it will do is it will allow you to do all of these things: read candidates, read and write applications, read jobs, read users. You'll hit continue, and you will put your Sage HR domain in here and make sure that you just complete all the necessary steps with things that you might want to put in. But that is more or less it for Testlify. So now it begs the question, why might people want to use Testlify, and why would I personally recommend it? Now, to answer the first question, when it comes to recruitment and getting employees, it can be quite difficult to have an all-in-one website where you can have tests, where you can have everyone sort of there and you can look at who there is. This aims to fix that, and with the integrations it means that you do not need to stray from the things that you're already using. For example, Workday will have those tests that you're able to complete, reviews, meetings, calendars, and you're able to ensure that they all get to remain on there, and you can just move everything that you've created from Testlify all the way over onto your Workday website and be able to very easily sort of integrate it with that as well. The actual applications and assessments that they do create are absolutely brilliant. They're exactly tailor-made for the different types that you might want, and I think that that's exactly one of the main reasons why people might want to use this. As for whether I would recommend it, the answer is very simply yes. The amount of integrations that they have is vast. I absolutely love that. It's very easy to use. It's very easy to navigate. There's no difficulty in actually finding people. You can make sure that you get the exact correct applicant for the job, and you can make sure that whoever you are hiring and that you are sure they are going to be the right person. But thank you everyone so much for watching. I will see you next time, but until then, goodbye.